What is up, my cranky crew? Did the CrankGameplays, and I'm back from my little week off. It was more than a week off, actually. It was like almost 2 weeks off at this point, but it was my first sort of real break from YouTube ever since I started. And today, if you didn't know, is the 29th of August, which is the 6-year anniversary of the channel. Videos started uploading on this channel August 29th of 2012. And it's so weird to think about that. Every time a new milestone hits for the year, like 5 years last year, 4, you know, math, it happens. Every time I pass one of these yearly milestones, it's always just really weird because I feel like I've both been doing YouTube for a really long time and a really short time all at once. It's crazy that 6 years have already gone by. And this year especially, it's a little bit more weird just because of me taking this break and sort of taking a step back and thinking about everything and sort of just, you know, I took a lot of time for myself, and I took a lot of time to really think about videos and to think about YouTube and to think about, I don't know, just kind of everything. I had a lot of really good talks with some of my friends and some of my family about it, and I'm really glad that I took the time that I did, and I thought about coming back earlier. I thought about coming back earlier than I probably should have, because after a few days, I was like, I feel a lot better. Wow, I could probably start making videos again. But I forced myself to take an entire week, and then I was still, like, I was feeling good, but I wasn't at a place yet that I thought that I should be at, because I still hadn't really figured out sort of, like, an answer to why I was feeling the certain way that I feel. And I don't really have a solid answer yet, but I have a better idea of sort of what's going on in my head. And I'm definitely going to try and take steps to, you know, better myself and to take care of myself a little bit more, because mental health is really, really important. And I think that it's something that people sort of forget about a lot. It was a very productive and very, like, eye-opening almost 2 weeks that I had, and I really, really, really needed it. So first off, I just want to say thank you guys so much for letting me take that week and a half, 2 weeks off, and not, you know, tweeting me all the time being like, why aren't there videos being posted? You are all very, very respectful, and you are all so supportive about me taking this break. And I'm really, really fortunate to have you guys and have the audience that I have, because you guys are so understanding, and it just makes everything a lot easier. Now, before we get into the video, I do want to do something special for the 6-year anniversary. But before we get into it, like I said in my last video, my grandmother passed away recently, and she was not only a huge part of my life, but she was a pretty big part of this channel also. I'd recorded a bunch of videos with her back in the day. A lot of you guys had seen her in my photos and stuff on Instagram and Twitter, and like there was a few times when we made videos for her on panels that I was on, or I FaceTimed her one time, and she really, really, really loved this community, and she was such a big motivator for me, and she really supported what I was doing, and she really loved watching my videos every day. She was really, like, my biggest fan. And so because it is the 6-year anniversary of the channel, and also because of her passing away recently, I thought that we could do something kind of cool as a tribute to my grandmother. So if you see these hoodies that I'm wearing right now, this one is a little bit different than, this one is a little bit different than the one that's actually going out. The one that's going out, the stitching is basically the same color as this, so it's a very monochromatic look. And so we're going to be selling these hoodies, and also a shirt too, which is right here, which is almost the same design, but a little bit different. And all of the hoodies and t-shirt sales, all the proceeds from that are going to go to the American Brain Tumor Association. My grandmother actually passed away from a very rare brain cancer, and she had a tumor in her brain. And so I thought, you know, not only could we sort of, like, we could all get something that has sort of a little piece of her, because she was here from the very beginning with my channel. From the very, very beginning, she was watching my videos and supporting us. And so I thought that we could sort of have this be a little tribute to her, but she was also very proud of all of the charity efforts that we did. She was always so amazed every time we did any charity streams or anything like that. Just like how we could all come together as a community and raise money for a really important cause. And so I thought that we could do the same thing, but for her in a way, but also for others at the same time. So if you would like to get one of these hoodies or one of these shirts, they are going to only be available from now until the very end of October, so they're going to be up for a month. And again, all of the proceeds will be going to the American Brain Tumor Association. Then you can go down in the link in the description below or to crankgameplays.com and pick one up for yourself. I'm really happy with the way that these came out. She was always a fan of simple designs and sort of simple things. I'm really glad that we can do this, and you know, whenever I wear this, I'll be thinking of my granny, and I hope that, you know, with the money that we raise from the shirt sales and everything, we can raise a good chunk to go towards a really good cause. So again, link will be in the description. But now let's get on to the video.
But first, it's hot in here.
And then this is the shirt. Yeah. Okay, so for the actual video for the 6-year anniversary, I wanted to do something that I've actually done before, but I haven't done it in a really long time. And with me taking this week off, just to sort of take a step back and think about stuff, I thought it would be a good idea to go back and watch some of the oldest videos on the channel and sort of just, you know, go back to when the channel first started and when I first, you know, fell in love with YouTube. And so I thought that would be really fun. So I'm actually on my old channel, and I have all these videos here that are privated and all of these ones that were made in the very beginning. So we are going to watch some of them. And the first one that I think I want to watch is this one, the Sims 3 house building video. This is the very first video that I ever made solo. Because when I started my channel, I started with one of my best friends, Andrew. And so we started the channel at the time and we were doing videos together. But then I wanted to do some solo stuff, and then eventually it was just me doing the channel. Oh yeah, had a sick intro back then. Sims 3 house building by Ethan from CrankGameplays. The editing, pristine. Oh no.
Hello, my name's Ethan from CrankGameplays.
The audio's so bad.
In the Sims 3.
I remember that this was me just using like my headset that I used to play on PS4.
In the basement.
And for some reason there was this like buzzing noise and I didn't know how to get rid of it.
Elevation false. I like that way a little bit better.
Oh, it's so awkward.
When you go down into the basement, it just makes everything all black. So I like this way a lot better.
This is so boring.
The front porch there, and now putting on some what are those called?
Oh, Ethan, railings? Is that what you're trying to say? Stairs?
Columns, that's what
Columns. Oh, poor boy. I remember being so nervous when I was making this video and recording it. I had recorded it a few times. I think it was only like 2 or 3 times that I did takes for this video though. But I was so nervous because I had nobody to riff off of, and I had to fill all of the silence myself. And I was really proud of this video though, and I really liked Sims houses back then, and that was sort of one of the things that inspired me to try and start making videos, is that I was watching a lot of Sims content. I was watching a YouTuber back then called Curtis Parody. I don't know if he still makes videos or not, but he did a lot of Sims 3 videos and a lot of house building stuff. But it's so awkward and the audio is so bad. Oh, little boy, you did not know how to talk.
Doing the same thing over there, adding the floor tile.
You can kind of tell, you can kind of hear like how nervous I am with like my breaths.
Floor tiles away. Now there's a garage over there that is attached to the foundation. That can be achieved by using it. So I'd like to thank you guys for watching. It's been a lot of fun making these videos. We will try and make a new video next month. So I'll see you guys then.
Next month? That's that's very loud. Are you talking about Sims house building videos? Because I can't remember in the very beginning whether or not, because I didn't start out making daily stuff. We started out doing videos together every, well, it was fairly regular. Not really. It started to get very regular because it was August 30th was the very first video, and then September 3rd, and then it was about a month until the next video. And then it was the 30th, October 2nd. So we posted, in 1 month, we posted 4 videos, and then in 1 day, we posted 3 more. And then we took a little bit of time, and then, oh, there was no scheduling back then. But, I mean, even now, the schedule isn't great. It's so weird to see how much my voice has changed, too. I don't know if it sounds super different for you guys, but it sounds a lot different for me. Just, like, the way that I talked and like my mannerisms and stuff. And I was so, I don't know, I was still so camera shy back then and so mic shy. Like I didn't know how to talk to people that weren't like physically there, you know? We are going to go to the very first series that I ever did. And this might have been one of the first, oh, that's loud. One of the first videos with like an intro. Because my dad had made that intro.
What's up, guys? It's Ethan
Oh.
from CrankGameplays.
I wasn't even-
we are playing The
I wasn't
Walking
even
Dead.
looking at the camera.
So this will be my solo.
Look at that
I don't know if you
lighting.
guys- But my PS3's optical
Oh.
disc drive.
Even back then, I was having technical
sorry,
issues
that's
all the
face
time.
cam, but
This is one of the first times that I used face cam, too. I forgot about that. I forgot about so much of this. So this was in my bedroom back then. There was no lighting that I had. The only lighting was from my TV. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. I have no idea. I think that I thought it looked cool because it just kind of like faded into the background and kind of looked like I was using a green screen if there was a dark background. But like the placement of the face cam is horrible. I'm not even like looking in the right direction. I'm looking off of the screen instead of like onto the screen. Oh no, this was before I even had, oh, this really shows, what are you doing? This really shows like how little you need to start making videos, because at this time I did have two cameras. One of them was super shitty. One of them was okay. And so I had a face cam pointed at me, and then I had my good camera. I don't know why I did the good camera for the TV, but I had the good camera pointed at the TV because I didn't have a capture card. And I didn't have a mic or anything. I was just using the onboard mic from the camera. Oh, you have no idea how cringy this is. It's really endearing, though. It's really cute because, like, I was still trying to figure everything out back then, you know? Like, I didn't know what I was doing at all, obviously, by the way this video is filmed. But that's, like, kind of the nice thing. I was just doing what I could to try and make videos, you know? I was working with what I had. We're not gonna watch this whole video, obviously, because it's 25 minutes long. But I do want to go to the very end of the video again, just to see how I sort of address people at the very end.
So, thank you guys for
Oh,
watching.
you don't have a face
I'm super
anymore.
excited for this game. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next episode of whatever I make or whatever Andrew makes. I earned a trophy. Fantastic. So yeah.
Oh.
Bye.
What was that? Oh. Oh, this is the old outro. Oh, that's cute. It brings me back. It brings me back. So that was some of the first stuff I ever made. I'll show one more Walking Dead video because I remember specifically the very first video where it went from zero to hero, baby. I think I went from pointing the camera at me and pointing the camera at the TV with no mic to having a capture card, having a better camera, having a microphone, and using a green screen all in one video. Finally, full HD gameplay. The Walking Dead, Part 9. What a good title. Warning, due to lack of intelligence, Ethan did not light the green screen correctly. Please excuse the poor green screen for the next few videos. Ethan now knows that he needs to light the green screen better. Thank you and enjoy. Oh, perfect.
What's up, guys? It's Ethan from CrankGameplays,
Oh.
and as you can see, the quality of this channel is booming. It's booming.
I don't know if I'd say it's booming. You're so desaturated.
Like over there, awkwardly.
The lighting is so harsh and weird.
It's HD.
It's
Full
HD. Full
Got a green
HD,
screen behind
guys.
me.
It's so weird to look back at this stuff because, like, I still hadn't really come into my own yet. And, like, I was so calm in these first videos because I just didn't know how I wanted to act in front of a camera. And I was still kind of shy. It's really nice to look at, though. Sometimes I forget how little I started with, you know, because I basically now, like, have my dream set up, and it's awesome. But I forget that back then I just worked with what I had. I just tried to make it happen in any way that I could, and I don't know, it's just cool. We're gonna go down to basically a year later after making videos to where I was a lot more comfortable. So this is July 22nd, 2013. This is Sissy's Magical Pony Corner Adventure. This is a new setup down here. I was down in the basement of my old house, and I was making videos basically every day at this point. I remember I was making them.
What's up, guys? It's Ethan from
Oh.
CrankGameplays, and today we are playing Sissy's Magical Pony Corn Adventure.
See, I'm starting to get a little bit less shy, and I'm starting to get a little more.
So we're gonna go ahead and
I'm starting to get a little more comfortable in front of the camera. This was one of the first games that I remember people suggesting and people really wanting me to play it, and it was so cool back then having people suggest stuff and being like, wow, people want to see stuff. Like, people want to see me make videos. It's not just me making the decisions now. Like, I'm getting comments of people asking for stuff, and I thought that was so cool.
Thanks for watching. Bye. Stay cranky.
Oh no! Oh no! Well, first of all, this is the old outro and the old outro music. This brings me back a lot. That brings me back a lot. I remember my good friend Zach, who actually made the outro for the channel, like the current outro. He randomly emailed me before we were friends and was like, "Hey, I'm like trying to make music and I found your channel. Like, do you want me to make you an outro?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, that would be awesome." And so he made me that song, and I really loved it, and I used that outro for a really long time. But the outro of me speaking, I had to stay cranky, bye, and then I just had a woo at the end of it. Some of you guys remember it because sometimes I'll get comments of people asking me to bring that back. I don't think that I will. I think it's a little bit overkill. But I totally forgot that I did that. There's so many things that I forgot that I did back then, and there's so many, because I had so many different outros, and I had so many, I don't know. I completely forgot about that. I was trying so hard to, like, I don't know, because I think a lot of times with making things, you imitate before, imitate before you innovate or something like that. And so I was kind of just trying to do the same things that other people were doing. When I started out, I hadn't really come into my own yet, and I hadn't really figured out, like, what I wanted, who I wanted to be or whatever. And again, I was still awkward and weird, and I didn't really know how to talk to people on camera. This one's Unfair Mario Part 3, Rage Out the Ass. I remember that this was something that when I started the Unfair Mario series, Unfair Mario was super huge back then. And people really wanted me to play.
It's Ethan from CrankGameplays, and today we are back in
Wait a second.
My cranky crew. It's Ethan from.
What was that?
My cranky crew. It's Ethan from.
What was the
CrankGameplays,
hand
and today
thing?
we are back
What are you
in
doing?
The
So I remember
bullshit that is
this was
Mario.
a really
And
successful
fuck, it is
series
here
back then.
for the
Because
whole damn
I
time.
had, not
Why
only
did
was
I
like
do that?
the quality a lot
you
better, obviously like the camera and stuff and the green screen, the mic quality, not that great. But because I didn't know, I had a Blue Yeti and I didn't know how to use it. I had the gain turned up so high. It was horrible. I didn't process the audio or anything. It was so bad. But this was one of the first series that I was really energetic. I was trying way too hard, but people were sort of seeing like the more funnier side of me, I guess. And like the more outgoing side of me, because I wasn't just sitting there like doing a normal Let's Play. I was playing like a rage game and stuff, and so I was naturally just like louder and like
fuck people in the ass.
horrible. I remember back then too, I was swearing way too much. Like I was trying to swear. It wasn't just like I was trying to swear to like be cool.
Dumb.
And it was just way too much. I remember editing these videos and like sitting down in my old setup, because I think in the original one, if I can find it, there was a clip at the very beginning of me dancing, and I did like just like a little, I think it was just a basic zoom. But I was so proud of it back then because I had never done one of those before. Here it is. Unfair Mario, So Much Rage. It was shortly after I hit 500 subs. We'll watch that after. We'll watch the 500 sub reaction video after. There wasn't even an edit here. It was just my face cam and a... Oh, Ethan, stop. I was so proud of that, though. And it was like the simplest thing.
Unfair, Mario.
Oh, the audio wasn't balanced at all. The game is way too loud, and there's no crop on the camera. It's very wide and like uncomfortably wide. Oh, that's right. I had a fuck count because I said fuck a lot. But I just tried to say fuck a lot. Just remember being down in that basement all day, like all the time, working on videos, and just trying to figure everything out. I watched so much more stuff back then too, because I don't watch that many videos back now, but I remember just watching everybody all the time back then. And that, I guess, is sort of what everyone did back then. Like I was in high school still, and so like that's all everyone did in school was watch videos. But I just remember seeing the things that other people were doing and be like, I want to do stuff like that. And like there was a lot of rage stuff going on back then. Like rage montages were a big thing. And so I was like, oh, I can get mad. I can do stuff like that. And I was just experimenting with different stuff. I don't know. All right, so let's go. This is the 500 sub reaction video.
We're so close. Mom, I'm recording a vlog right now, so don't do anything stupid. YouTube,
Oh.
If I get there right now, during this vlog, my mom's gonna take a video of me doing a backflip. Mom, can they see my face on the camera?
Anything for attention.
Still at $4.99.
I was so close. Oh, and that's the old YouTube layout.
Will you just believe in me? I believe in you. 500! Yeah! Yeah!
I ran around the house.
Record me doing a backflip outside. Wait, I need proof.
We don't need to see us doing a backflip outside. It's quite all right, Ethan. It's really cute to watch. Just how excited I was about everything. And like now as the channel gets bigger and bigger and bigger, the milestones get further and further apart, because the next big milestone is sort of like we're creeping up on 1 million. And so that's like the next big milestone. And it's, I don't know, it's really cool to just see the very beginning, like 500 subs. And I don't know. I don't really have words to describe it. It's just sort of it's just like all of these memories are sort of rushing back to me now of just like the very beginning. And that's sort of all I was doing back then. I was doing school, and I was making these videos, and all I wanted to do was make videos. All I wanted to do. But then what we're about to look at is sort of like the next stage of YouTube. And when I really got into it and really started being dedicated to it, which was sort of starting the end of high school. But before we get into that part of YouTube, I do want to go back to, this was one of the first things that was super successful on my channel. And it was a video with my grandmother. And it was me playing Five Nights at Freddy's with my grandmother. And I haven't watched this video in a really long time. But
what is up, my Cranky crew? With Ethan from CrankGameplays, and today I have
my granny.
grandmother here. Say hi,
and this
Granny.
Is
Hi, all.
this is one of the first videos that she was in.
Five Nights on those lights. See the door and the light?
She it was so funny making videos with her, because she was so clueless as far as video games go. She didn't know how to control anything. She didn't even know how to use a mouse. She just, like, her piece of technology was the landline phone. That's what she knew how to use. And even then, kind of barely. But it was so fun doing these videos. And it was so fun including her in the channel. And you guys obviously really loved it. And she became a part of the channel. And she became, you know, part of the community from this. And this was one of the first times where she understood why I did YouTube, because we recorded this video and she enjoyed recording the video, but then seeing all of your comments and everything was what seeing all of your comments and everything, and seeing your reaction to the videos, and seeing the community, like her seeing the community, was what made her really get behind me making videos, because she really loved you guys a lot, and she loved being a part of it. You know, she was so fascinated with how, like, just me recording myself playing video games could sort of, like, get out there to so many people from across the world, and she would read all the comments, and she would, I don't know, she was just she was fascinated by all of it, and she thought that it was so much fun and that it was all for such a good cause, you know.
Alright, well, I will have you over again.
I love you all.
Oh,
Well,
Stay cranky.
she knew my outro.
All right, Granny. Tell them.
She watched the
tell them
videos.
to,
She was such a sweetheart. She was so sweet. So now is when we sort of step into me taking the channel more seriously and me really diving into it. So at this time, on December 4th, 2015, I decided that I was going to make a new channel and start over from the very beginning because the videos that I did with my grandmother got really popular, as well as this video that I did of Flappy Bird. But a lot of people wanted those videos. A lot of people subbed for those videos, but I wasn't making those videos regularly. So I had about 25,000 subs, but I was only getting like 100 views a video. So the view to sub ratio was really bad. So there were so many people that weren't watching. There were so many people that were unsubscribing. So I decided that I'm going to start over, start from scratch, and make an entirely new channel. And it was one of the, as far as my channel goes, one of the biggest decisions that I ever had to make, and one of the hardest ones too, because it was basically, you know, after 3 years of doing YouTube, I was making the decision of starting all over and just like, it was so hard because at that time I was like, this obviously is the most subs I've ever had. Like, what if I can never build it up to, like, what if I can never build it back up again? Like, what if this is a bad decision, blah, blah, blah. But I ended up deciding to do it. And it was like one of the best decisions that I could have made for my channel, I think.
What is
And
up,
so,
my Crankgate crew?
this is the first video.
And this is the first vlog on the new channel.
This is the first vlog of the new channel. So this obviously is me well into YouTube. It's 2015. In my head, 2015 was like the peak of Let's Plays on YouTube. It was like one of the most popular things back then. I had the blue hair. It was shortly after I dyed my hair blue for the charity event that we had done. And so this is sort of, we've sort of skipped a little bit here where I've been doing it for a while now. I had been doing it for a while, so I was very much sort of like coming into my own, and I was super comfortable in front of the camera. I was more comfortable in front of the camera than I was in front of real people. Like, I didn't talk to a lot of people. This was shortly after I had graduated from high school, and so I was more comfortable talking to a camera than actual people, and this was all I was doing. I was working at a restaurant and I was making videos every single day, and I was really getting into it, and I was really sort of diving in head first. And it was really when that passion started to really, like, there was this like fire that had been set sort of inside of me, you know. Like, it was when 2015, I think the end of 2014 and the beginning of 2015, I think, was when it really started to set in that this is what I wanted to do, you know? Just another one of those stereotypical repetitive CrankGameplays vlogs. And this was like my first legit setup too. I had a real mic that was good. I had a good camera. I had this was shortly after I had put a bunch of acoustic foam on my wall and everything. And I was like trying to get into it more, and I was trying to figure the technical side out of YouTube more, not just like recording with whatever. I was trying to be like, okay, what's the best quality that I can get, and you know, like that. And I was starting to figure out how to like process audio and everything. It's so weird again, just looking back on all of these videos. And I'm sorry that I keep skipping between so much and we're not watching like full videos or anything. But that's not really what this is about. This is more just like kind of going down memory lane, you know? This is the first reading your comments ever. We gotta watch this.
I want to try and do this on a consistent basis. Probably not every week.
Classic Ethan. Classic. I haven't done a reading your comments in such a long time. I should do those again. But I loved this because I was really trying to interact with the community as much as possible. And at this time I was replying to like all of the comments. I was replying to everyone's tweets. I was on Tumblr all the time. And I was doing stuff like this more. And I know that this is like me being a broken record, but I want to get back into stuff like this, and I was thinking a lot over my break, and I feel like one of the things that I was burning out, why I was burning out so hard, is because I haven't been as in touch with the community as I should be, and as in touch with the community as I want to be, you know, because I want to interact with you guys more, and I want to do more stuff like reading your comments or doing different things like that. I think the sort of heart and the soul of this channel is community oriented, and I've always loved this community, and I've loved interacting with you guys, and it's honestly like one of my favorite things. And I've sort of fallen out of that recently in the past like 6 months or so. And 6 months sounds like a long time, but it's not really that long. But I think that that's one of the things that I've noticed over this past week is like I haven't really been talking to you guys as much as I usually do, or as much as I did back then. And I wanna get into that more, and I wanna become more a part of the community, because obviously like this is my channel and technically like my community, and I'm sort of the head of the community in a sense, but I don't feel like I'm a part of the community. Do you know what I mean? And that's all on me. That's all me not interacting as much as I should, or not knowing you guys as well as I should, and stuff like that, I guess. I have a hard time wording things, so I hope that I'm getting my point across, but do you get what I mean by I feel like I'm not in the community, and I wanna get back in the community, because I did really feel like I was part of this whole thing, and I wasn't just sort of like spearheading it, you know what I mean? And I want to get back into doing more like community events and stuff like that. I want to get back to knowing you guys better. And so I think that's another reason why I've sort of been in this funk, because I've just fallen out of the community. And I want to get back in.
My goal is to just make people smile and make their days brighter, and I feel like I'm starting to do that, and it's really, really great, and it means the world to me that you guys enjoy what I do, and that my videos make some of you guys happy. It's awesome, and I really hope that my videos continue to put smiles on your faces and continue to make you laugh even when you're at your lowest point. You know, I want to make your days better, so I hope that I can continue to do that for you guys. All right, well that's the first.
That's cute. It's just one of those weird things, like, little did you know, Ethan. And sometimes it's hard to. Sometimes it's hard sort of realizing, and this isn't. I'm not trying to make this like an arrogant thing, or like trying to be pompous or anything, but the channel, I know that the channel and the videos that I make do help a lot of people. And that is so fucking cool. Like, I never ever thought that my videos would mean something to really anyone. But, like, especially back then, like, there weren't that many people on the channel. There was, like, a couple thousand subs on the channel. And I'm talking about how, like, I hope that I can make more people happy. And it's like, little did you know, dude. Little did you know that, like, the channel now is almost at 1 million subs. And, like, that's so nuts to think about. That almost 1 million people are here on the channel. It's so crazy. And so it's like, going back to past Ethan, just like, maybe someday you'll have 1 million people watching your shit, dude. And like, you'll be making like 1 million people smile. Again, I know that we're not watching like the bulk of videos. We're just kind of skimming through them a little bit, and that probably will be one of the last videos that we watch, just because there's something else very special that I want to do, and this is something that I've been thinking about doing for a while, but then I realized that now is a really good time for me to do this because of where I've been at recently, and sort of me taking a break and sort of thinking about things more and everything. This is something that I didn't have a plan for when I wanted to do this. So as a lot of you guys know, I moved out here to LA after doing YouTube for, I guess it was about 4 years, and I moved out here to LA to work with Mark. And I knew at that time that because of Mark and how huge his channel is and everything, that the channel was going to get significantly bigger. But I wasn't sure what was going to happen, and it was this huge opportunity. And it was so crazy that that this was happening. And so when I was on my flight, when the flight was coming to a landing, I took out my phone and I wrote a note to myself. Just kind of all the thoughts that were happening at that time. And I don't think it's very long, but I thought that it would be a good idea to read that now. And I haven't read it since I wrote it. So it's been almost 2 years since I wrote this, and I haven't even looked at it since. And so I thought that this would be a good time to break that out. And I wanted to sort of end the video with this little note and my reaction to it and stuff. This is a lot shorter than I thought it was, but this was just what I was thinking at the time. And it reads, in 20 minutes, I'm going to land in Los Angeles. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what's going to happen. All that I know is that all I've ever wanted to do is make videos, and now it's about to become a reality. I've never loved something as much as I love YouTube. I've never been more passionate about anything in my life. I cannot wait to see what happens, and I can't wait to affect more people. All of my dreams might about to become a reality. Oh, again, I know that I'm repeating myself, but it's so weird looking back on that stuff. Because I remember writing that, and I remember the feeling, how excited I was and how nervous I was at the same time. I had no idea what was going to happen. I just knew that a lot of things were about to change, and a lot of things did change. And I'm really, really glad that I came out here to LA, and it's been overall really good. It's been a lot, you know. There's been a lot of good times and there's been a lot of hard times, and there's been a lot of big changes and a lot of things that I've had to deal with. And you know, especially because everything has sort of happened sort of very suddenly, I had to learn how to deal with things very quickly, and I had to adjust very quickly. And it's such a weird thing thinking back and thinking like, how did I get to this point? Like, how did all of this happen? You know, I was just like this kid in Maine that really liked playing video games and really liked being on camera and making stuff, and now I'm out in Los Angeles and it's my job, and my videos are going out to over 600,000 people, and I get to travel the world and do shows, and I get to do panels at different events. I get to be a part of the actual like convention at different events, that stuff that I used to just attend to, and someday was like, wow, wouldn't it be cool to be a part of this? And now I am. It's just so crazy thinking back. And again, I'm really, really, really glad that I took the time that I did to just sort of sit in my own thoughts and really think about stuff. I the other day had a really good conversation with a friend of mine, and I just sort of realized a lot of things, and I was asked a lot of questions that I had never been asked before, and it was very, very eye-opening. And I've now sort of realized what some of my issues are that I need to work on myself. It's just nice to have finally not completely figured out what's been going on in my mind, but like at least have some sort of answer a little bit, you know, because it's been frustrating for a very long time, because I've felt so weird about things recently, and I haven't been able to pinpoint why. And I'm like, why have I sort of been losing this spark that I had, and why have I been not as happy as I think I should be, or things like that. And there's been an overwhelming amount of guilt that I've been putting on myself. And that was sort of some of the realizations that I was having, that I'm sort of blowing everything out of proportion in my head and freaking out about it. It was just this one conversation that I had in particular that was yesterday. Was it yesterday or was it 2 days ago? I can't remember. But I had been trying this whole almost 2 weeks to figure things out, and I was starting to get some answers, but just this one conversation just sort of opened my eyes a little bit. And I don't know. I'm very, very glad that I took time off just to myself to think about things, but also to just do nothing. And I think a lot of people forget that YouTubers a lot of times like don't have vacations. We don't take days off. Like we don't take weekends, you know. I'm kind of doing, whether or not a video is posted every day, I'm kind of doing YouTube every day all the time. You know, whether it's going on Twitter and doing stuff or like figuring out like new merch stuff or whatever, or coordinating things for like different events and stuff like that. Like there's always stuff going on all the time. And I hadn't really taken a break up until this point. And I'm really, really glad that I did. And I am so thankful that you guys have been so understanding about it and so encouraging too, and being like, you should take a break, like you deserve it. And I think that I need to remind myself that too. I need to remind myself that I deserve things like a break. And I need to remind myself that I deserve the things that have happened on my channel. And I worked really, really hard for a really long time to get where I am today. And I deserve to be where I am. And I deserve, like, recognition and stuff like that. I deserve to be happy. You know, and I don't do that enough. I don't tell myself that I love myself enough. And I don't give myself enough credit. And sometimes it's really hard to do. And I think that I put way too much pressure on myself. And that was sort of the realization that I had a couple days ago. Is that I just put a lot of pressure on myself. And I need to remind myself that, you know, no matter what happens and no matter, I don't know, I deserve this stuff, and I've worked really hard, and I've earned it. And sometimes I forget about that, and I need to do that more. Thank you guys for being here for the past 6 years, and thank you for watching me grow up, and thank you for being here through all of these changes and through all these ups and downs and everything, and thank you for reminding me of those things, you know, because I don't tell myself that stuff enough, and this is not me fishing for compliments. It's just, it's nice to have those reminders every once in a while that I'm doing a good job and that I need to, you know, put a little less pressure on myself, I think. And I also need to remind myself that I'm good at what I do. I've been in a funk for a really long time, and I've been in this place where I don't think that the stuff that I make is good and that the stuff that I make is funny and stuff. And when I'm on and I'm like in that mode, I'm really good at this. And I need to remind myself that I'm really good at this. And I don't tell myself that enough. So I need to start doing that. And this is sort of a reminder to you guys too, you know? Like, try to not put so much pressure on yourself and try to remind yourself every once in a while, you know, like, you deserve happiness, and you deserve, like, if you have found success or you've found something that you love, like, you deserve it. You do. That's something that I need to do a lot more myself. So I'm going to end this one here. Again, just as a reminder, those hoodies are for sale, and all of the proceeds will be going towards the brain tumor, the American Brain Tumor Association. And they're also just a little tribute to my grandmother, because she was a fantastic person, and she was such an inspiration to me, and she was such a big part of this community. So those are sort of just in memory of her. So if you'd like to pick one up, those will be down in the description below. So again, thank you guys for the past 6 years. I'm feeling a lot better now, which is good. And that's not just me saying that. I am genuinely feeling a lot better about things. And I'm excited to get back into it. And I really hope that I can get back into that motivational mode and just start trucking again. So thank you guys so much. And yeah. I'll see you later.